Tuesday, September 9th, 2025 at 5:30 p.m. We'll have an invocation from Father Tony with Our Lady of the Lake Roman Catholic Parish, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance led by Janelle Huizenga with Havasu Dance Alliance. Father Tony?
May we begin in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. God of might and Lord of light, we cannot thank you enough for all that you do for us. You are the giver of everything that is good and beautiful. Your way is perfect, and you bless all who walk in your way. Lead us in your way, especially these city council members, and give them the grace to always walk in your light, and give them abundant wisdom, as you gave to your servant Solomon. Give them a compassionate heart and the spirit of understanding as they carry out their responsibility. Fill their heart with great love, fulfillment in what they do. Loving Savior, any challenge that may come our way, I pray that you give them a good listening ear and discerning spirit to courageously tackle any challenge with humility and love. In every problem, guide their decision with compassion and right judgment. Lord, we pray that abiding by your precepts and the laws of our land, we may live and work together peacefully and have our city rise to a greater height to become a shining example for others to emulate. May you accept our thanksgiving, bless us, and answer our prayers. We ask this through Christ our Lord. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening, Mayor, council members, and community guests. My name is Janelle Huizenga, and I have the privilege of serving as president of Havasu Dance Alliance. Havasu Dance Alliance began with a simple vision to support local youth dancers. We grew and we realized something important. Our community's need for support far extended beyond dance. There are young people across our community who are in need in all performing arts, dance, theater, music, cheer, and many more. They need encouragement, resources, and opportunities. That realization inspired us to expand our mission. Today, Havasu Dance Alliance exists to uplift, empower all youth performers. We do this by providing access to programs, resources, and financial support that reduce barriers that families have, allowing children to focus on what they need, what matters, their growth as people and performers. Our work's not just about costumes or classes. It's about building confidence, teaching discipline, and creating positive outlets for our youth. The skills they gain, teamwork, creativity, and perseverance, are the same skills preparing them to become leaders and contributors in our community. On behalf of Havasu Dance Alliance, I want to thank the council for your continued support of organizations that invest in our youth. Together, we can ensure that Lake Havasu remains a city where young people are encouraged, supported, and celebrated in all of their creative endeavors. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for being here and for sharing the great mission and the work that you're doing with the youth in our community. Thank you so much. All right, the next item on the agenda is the roll call. Ms. Williams, if you please call the roll.
Council members Nancy Campbell, Jenny Koch,
Here.
Jim Dolan,
Here.
David Diaz,
Here.
Cameron Moses,
Here.
Vice Mayor Michelle Lynn,
Here.
Mayor Kal Sheehy.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda is our consent agenda. Would any of the council members like to remove any of the items for separate discussion?
Mayor.
Councilmember Koch,
Motion.
please.
Move to approve the consent agenda as presented. I'll second.
We have a motion from Councilmember Koch and a second from Councilmember Moses. We are ready to vote.
Motion carries 6-0.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda is item 6, which is correspondence, communications, petitions, announcements, and the city manager report. Item 6.1 is the investment report as of June 30th, 2025. Ms. Olson has included this in our packet. It's also available on our website at www.lhcaz.gov for review by our citizens. Moving on to item 6.2 is announced vacancies on Lake Havasu City boards, committees, and commissions. Ms. Williams.
Mayor and City Council, this item is to announce vacancies on Lake Havasu City boards, committees, and commissions. There is currently one vacancy, an alternate member on the Board of Adjustment. Anyone interested can pick up a packet at City Hall, and they are also available on the city's website at lhcaz.gov. Thank you.
Thank you. Item 6.3 is our city manager's report. Good evening, Mr. Knutson.
Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, Council. I'd like to start this evening's city manager report with recognition of a very special guest we have today. We are thrilled to have State Senator Hildy Angus with us this evening. She was recently recognized and awarded as a legislative champion for cities and towns by the Arizona League of Cities and Towns. We're very lucky to have Senator Hildy Angus representing Lake Havasu City in our legislative district and fighting for local government, local control, and of course for our residents. Mayor, I believe you have a very special gift for our state senator. I'll turn it over to you.
If I could have my colleagues on the council join me on the front as well. And Senator Angus, if you'd please make your way to the front. Yeah, so we have a special award that we want to give Senator Angus for her work. So as Mr. Knutson mentioned, she is a legislative champion for cities and towns. Prior to Senator Angus's election to the state Senate, she was a Mojave County supervisor. And so she understands what it means for local control and local communities. And she took that with her to the state Senate and was able to really champion and thwart bills that were opposing cities and counties throughout the state of Arizona. She has been a champion, and it's really our honor to be able to recognize you for all of the work you've done. And so we want to present you with a key to Lake Havasu City. Yeah, it's our highest honor we can bestow on somebody. Yeah, so you have, thank you. And thank you for all the work you're doing in the state Senate. We really do appreciate it.
My pleasure. You know, thank you again. I really didn't think I was getting anything but a pat on the back and a thank you. So this is awesome. As the mayor said, my heart is in local government, and I'm just sorry to report that there's a lot of legislators down in Phoenix who don't believe in local government. They just believe that we are subdivisions of the state and we should do what they say. But I've made a vow to myself and to the league and to CSA that I would never let them minimize your work or do things that are going to hurt our local communities. So thanks again, and I'll go back and keep doing it.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. We'll get together and Steve will take a photo. Are we in it? Congratulations again. Thank you. And we also want to recognize District 2 Supervisor Rich Letman. Thank you for being here for Hildy's honors. And thank you for the work you're doing in Mojave County for us. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you one last time to State Senator Hildy Angus for all you're doing for local government. I'd also like to recognize and congratulate one of our city employees, Jason Simmons, on his retirement after more than 34 years of dedicated service with Lake Havasu City. 34 years. It's phenomenal. Jason, you served a variety of roles within Public Works, Wastewater Division, and always brought professionalism and a commitment to our community and to your work. Your contributions have made a lasting impact on our organization and, of course, on our community. We wish you very, very well and the best of times in your retirement. Again, thank you, Jason. I'd like to also recognize 3 of our employees. They're not retiring, and the deal is that they cannot ever retire because they are doing such great work for Lake Havasu City and our organization. On behalf of the City Employee Appreciation Committee, I'd like to recognize and congratulate these 3 employees. On the left is Steve Blake. He is in charge of our social media. He's in the back recording this meeting and does just so much for us in terms of digital media. And of course, he is our digital media coordinator. He recently completed the Public Technology Institute Certified Government Digital Services Professional Program and is certified in that area now. So congratulations to you, Steve. And for Tracy Langley, who achieved her Professional in Human Resources PHR certification. That's a big, big deal that there's testing and studying and a lot of hard work that goes into that certification. And also on the right is Human Resources Supervisor Terry Myers. She also achieved her Professional in Human Resources or PHR certification. A lot of hard work for Terry as well in that endeavor. So it certainly paid off, and we're grateful to have your expertise within the organization. And I also like to congratulate Councilmember Jenny Koch on being selected for the Arizona League of Cities and Towns inaugural Civic Craft Leadership Program. It's a year-long program that brings together leaders from across Arizona to explore innovative solutions and strengthen collaboration. Councilmember Koch has remained a strong advocate for policies that strengthen the quality of life for our residents here in Lake Havasu City. And her participation in this program further enhances her ability to represent our community and contribute to thoughtful decision-making at the local level. Congratulations. I do have 2 quick updates. Fire Station 7. The project is currently in the design stage. The Perlman design team is scheduled to submit their 60% plan set for city review the next couple of weeks. So we expect that by the end of the month. Over the last 4 months, Perlman, Wilmang, and the city have been working diligently to value engineer the plans to ensure the fire station can be completed in budget, but also addresses everything that we need at that fire station to protect the community properly and serve the community properly. We are expecting the 100% plan set is to be scheduled for completion, 100% completion in the first quarter of 2026. And construction on Fire Station 7 is scheduled to begin in the second quarter of 2026. So that is right around the corner. And the team, including the chief and Phil Porter, our project manager, all the good people in Public Works and within the fire department and all across the city are working very hard on that project. And we remain on time and under budget. The second update I'd like to give is for the second bridge. And this project is also currently in the design stage. The consultant hired by the Lake Havasu City is NV5, and the design team is scheduled to submit their 30% plan set for city review here in the next few weeks. So also expecting that by the end of of this month in September. Since hiring Ames Construction as the CMAR, or Construction Management at Risk, or the contractor on the job, we did that back in February of 2025, a few months ago. Since then, NV5, Ames, and the city have been working on the plans and making sure that we are putting together the best product possible to ensure it comes within budget and achieves all the goals of the council and our residents. The environmental process has already been started, and we submitted that to the Coast Guard, as they are the federal agency that will ensure the permitting allows for the bridge to be built over the channel. So we're talking about a waterway, and we've started that process with the Coast Guard. We're told that process can take anywhere from 6 months to 18 months. So we wanted to start that timer as soon as possible. So good job by Ron Foggin, our Public Works Director, and all and the entire Public Works team for getting that across the finish line and that first big step. We are hoping to tentatively start construction in the first quarter of 2027. So put that into perspective, and we're going to need some help still from Arizona State Parks. So if you're listening, we're going to need your cooperation to achieve that timeline and that milestone. But 2 projects that are well underway, making great progress in the design stages. Both projects right now are looking very, very good and very, very promising. As part of our commitment to safety and modernization, Lake Havasu City's Development Services Department, in partnership with our fire department, is proposing the adoption of the 2024 International Building and Fire Codes with our local amendments. These updates would replace the 2018 codes to keep us aligned with current standards, improve construction safety, and support new technologies. So this is up for council consideration in the next couple months. In the meantime, we need the community's input. So we invite our residents, our builders, and stakeholders in the community to review the proposed amendments and share feedback at lhcaz.gov. And we'll also be reaching out with, we have a press release going out. We have information on the website that's available. And then Mr. Tuneman, our Development Services Director, and others will be presenting at our local, the Chamber's Building Alliance and other meetings that where we're going to engage and solicit feedback from our contractors and builders in Havasu to see exactly what that means to them. So we want to be safe, but we also don't want to place more constraints or further constrain our development community unnecessarily. Mayor Sheehy, you recently issued a proclamation recognizing September 17th through the 23rd as Constitution Week in Lake Havasu City, as you presented to the Daughters of the American Revolution. This week-long observance commemorates the signing of the U.S. Constitution and reminds us all of the significance of our nation's founding principles. The Daughters of the American Revolution will celebrate the occasion with a bell-ringing ceremony at the Lake Havasu City Library on Wednesday, September 17th at 2:30 p.m. So please join them. Another month packed with activities and fun provided by our Parks and Recreation Department. We have outdoor adventures like kayaking and archery to creative workshops like candle making. There really, truly is something for everybody to enjoy. So please don't miss out on the opportunities for September. All this information is available on the city's website. And lastly, let's celebrate our parks one more time. I'd like to wrap up my report with a video from Mayor Cal Sheehy as he showcases Rotary Community Park. So let's listen to see what the mayor has to say about Rotary Park.
Hi, I'm Mayor Cal Sheehy. I'm at one of Lake Havasu City's most popular parks, Rotary Community Park. This beautiful 40-acre park was built with the community in mind, providing something for everyone. From beaches and walking paths to ball fields and volleyball courts, Rotary Community Park is a hub for relaxation and recreation. And right here in the park is Tunnell Memorial Sports Complex, one of Arizona's largest skate and BMX parks. Completed in 2013, it honors Patrick Tunnell, a local BMX enthusiast and Army veteran who gave his life serving our country, and Colin Sassine, a young Lake Havasu native who loved skateboarding. Rotary Community Park truly showcases the beauty and spirit of Lake Havasu City. We invite you to explore and make memories of your own.
Fantastic. Thank you, Mayor, for that reintroduction into Rotary Park and all the great things that that provides for our residents. And with that, that concludes my report for this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Knudsen. We'll move on to item 7, which is our public hearings. During each of the public hearings, we will have an opportunity for citizens to weigh in the conversation. We encourage you to weigh in during the item that might be of interest to you if you have any remarks to include into the conversation. We will have a call to the public at the end of the meeting where citizens have the opportunity to address the council on items within the jurisdiction of Lake Havasu City that are not on the agenda, but we can't have a two-way conversation at that time. So again, if you are here for one of the public hearings, we encourage you to weigh in at that time. We'll start with item 7.1, which is a 2026 General Plan Update Progress Report. Mr. Gilbert.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening to the City Council, city staff, and everyone joining us here in person or tuning in remotely. Tonight, I'm providing an update on the progress of the Lake Havasu City General Plan update. I'll walk through the process and schedule, share a participation update, outline the next steps, and then open it up for any questions that you may have. For those who may be engaging with this process for the first time, the General Plan Update is a long-range planning effort that will shape the city's goals and objectives for growth and development over the next decade and beyond. It serves as a strategic guide, not a regulatory document. It is important to note this update does not change the current development code or zoning map. Any future policy changes to those documents would require a formal legislative process, including public hearings. While such changes often follow general plan updates, we're still early in the process and it's too soon to determine whether that will be necessary. So I have up now the process and schedule slide. From the outside of this 2-year process, we followed a publicly shared schedule developed in partnership with our consultant team at Logan Simpson Design Incorporated. This timeline has guided each phase of the general plan update. We've completed steps 1 and 2, the launch and discover steps, and we're now wrapping up step 3, envision. Much of the work from step 3 is the centerpiece of tonight's presentation. Step 4 on this process and schedule, labeled build, is already underway. While it's progressing well, it's still in the early stages, not yet ready to be included in this update. We'll cover that in more detail in a future presentation. This slide highlights the success of the dedicated website created for the general plan update. From the beginning, staff and the consultant team have consistently encouraged attendees at every event, meeting, and workshop to visit the site, complete questionnaires, and stay informed on the process. As shown here, the site has received over 18,800 views and currently has 148 subscribers. We continue to promote it at every opportunity, and we expect those numbers to grow as more residents engage with the update. As part of our comprehensive data collection strategy for the general plan update, we conducted in-depth interviews with a range of key community stakeholders. These conversations were guided by a detailed set of questions designed to capture various perspectives and priorities across the city. We're nearly finished with this phase with only 3 interviews remaining before this portion of the outreach is complete. Committee meeting slide. 2 key committees are playing an active role in shaping the general plan update: the General Plan Steering Committee and the Technical Advisory Committee. The Steering Committee, whose members are listed on the screen, were selected from a pool of applicants representing a wide range of backgrounds and perspectives across the city. Their role is to provide strategic guidance throughout the process. So far, they met twice with a 3rd meeting scheduled for next month. The Technical Advisory Committee, and you can see on the screen the different departments that are represented, is made up of city staff from every department. These subject matter experts review all materials, data, reports, and draft content for technical accuracy and consistency. Their role is to ensure the materials produced throughout the process are technically sound and reflect best practices across all departments. Development Services staff, along with our consultant team, have actively participated in 13 community events so far, with more planned through the end of the year. These outreach efforts through booths and tent setups have allowed us to connect directly with approximately 750 residents, including events like Truckapalooza. We also launched an online questionnaire as part of our public engagement strategy. The first survey received responses from 831 individuals who shared their thoughts on various aspects of the city's future. From analyzing those responses, 7 key themes have emerged. First, there's a strong desire to preserve the Lake Havasu City small-town character. This sentiment came across consistently across multiple engagement channels. Second, affordable housing remains a top concern. Many respondents emphasize the need for more accessible and diverse housing options. Third, there's clear interest in attracting more well-paying jobs. At the same time, people express concern about the city's reliance on tourism and service-based industries. Fourth, traffic congestion and mobility were recurring topics. Residents are looking for solutions that include expanded public transit and improved bike infrastructure. Fifth, access to health care, especially specialists and emergency services, was flagged as a significant issue that needs attention. Six, there's a strong call for more recreational opportunities, including sports fields, indoor facilities, and youth programs. And finally, protecting the shoreline and natural environment emerged as a clear priority, reflecting the community's deep connection to its unique setting. These themes are helping shape the direction of the general plan update and will continue to guide our work as we move forward. The first visioning workshop showed strong participation, with 63 attendees joining in person and another 85 participating virtually. It was a valuable opportunity to gather input and begin shaping the direction of the general plan update. During the workshop, we explored 4 key concepts that helped frame the conversation. First, we looked at themed aspirational principles. These are broad values and goals that reflect the community's vision for the future. Next, we identified priorities that focused on areas that residents felt were the most important to address. We also gathered input on visual preferences and gained feedback on design styles, development patterns, and the look and feel of future growth. Finally, we discussed big ideas and locational preferences on where certain types of development or improvements should occur. Together, these elements provided a strong foundation for the next phase of planning and helped us better understand what matters most to the community. So what have we learned from all the outreach, surveys, workshops, interviews, and community events? After reviewing and analyzing the full range of public input and data, we condensed it into 5 core aspirational statements. These statements reflect the community's values and priorities, and each one aligns with the 17 planning elements required by state law. And I'm not going to individually read them, but they're up on the screen if anyone wants to spend a few moments with that. To make the planning process more accessible and meaningful, we've grouped these elements into 5 overarching themes. Land use and growth includes land use and growth areas. And those are elements from the state requirements. Connected community encompasses public services and facilities, energy, water resources, bicycling, circulation, and public buildings. Prosperous economy includes economic growth, education, and cost of development. Thriving neighborhoods covers housing, conservation, rehabilitation, redevelopment, and neighborhood preservation and revitalization. And the final one, healthy environment, includes environmental planning, recreation, open space, and safety. So these 5 aspirational statements will serve as the foundation for the goals and policies that guide the next phase of the general plan update. Looking ahead, we have several important steps coming up in the general plan update process. We'll begin by analyzing the results of the plan audit to identify areas of alignment and opportunities for improvement. Listening sessions will continue, allowing us to gather more targeted input from residents and stakeholders. Work will begin on drafting the future land use map, which will help visualize how the city may grow and evolve. The General Plan Steering Committee will hold its 3rd meeting on October 15th to review progress and provide further guidance. And toward the end of October, we'll host a 2nd workshop, both virtual and in person, to share updates and gather additional feedback from the community. Please visit the city's website at www.lhcaz.gov for more information and access to the General Plan Update website. Highly encourage anyone present or watching remotely to go to the website and get involved if you're not already involved. The more input we can get, the better. Ultimately, upon completion and possible adoption of the general plan update early next year by the City Council, the plan will be placed before voters for ratification in November of 2026. Mayor, this completes my presentation. I'm happy to answer any questions the council may have.
Thank you, Mr. Gilbert. Are there questions or comments from members of the council for Mr. Gilbert? Yeah, Councilmember Diaz.
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Gilbert, so and I don't know if I'm speaking out of turn here, but I'm pretty disappointed with the amount of people that have, we have 59,000 residents here. I know there's a lot of those are children also, but what can we do maybe as we get to the next sessions that we're going to be doing? What can we think outside the box to get more citizen participation. I went to both of those, or at least one of the ones at the library, and the second one was there's like 10 people in the room. So what can we do to get more people other than, because some of these people don't use the internet, they don't have computers, they're elderly. So are we thinking of other ways to get community involvement? Because 832, something says people, and 156 was another number. That's anemic. It's just my opinion. So,
Councilman Member Diaz, I understand your concern, and we share it as well. And we have brought that issue up with our consultant team. They have done this for dozens and dozens of communities, and they believe that the numbers that they're seeing from public involvement, I'm not saying that that's what we want to see, but they're saying the numbers we're seeing are actually quite good, given the historic turnout in towns of our size for events like this. But we're going to continue working with them to come up with ideas to get additional word out. Again, we've had almost 20,000 people access our website, but that has not translated into those individuals attending the workshops. So we'll see what we can do to continue to improve on that. Yeah,
and I think we could all put our heads together and think of something. And we pat ourselves on the back when we get like a 35% voter participation rate, and that's still anemic. So kind of the same ballpark. Can you go back to the slide that had the steering committee and the TAC? So can you explain to me the TAC responsibilities of the people on the TAC? Like, who are they? I mean, what I see who they are there, but what is their role in this process?
Various subject matter experts in all these different departments. They operate remotely. In other words, when we get documents that need review, we provide copies of the documents. And some of them could be, for example, we recently had to screen the goals and objectives from our existing general plan to determine what we were going to do with them as far as modify, keep, some that might be able to discard. And that goes out to all the TAC committee members for the different components that were in there. For example, public safety would go to fire and police, and we would get their professional opinion on the goals and objectives on that particular assignment. And they act purely as subject matter experts, and they review documentation and provide their input. And they act as support for the general plan steering committee.
And then go forward a couple of slides slowly, and I'll try to just keep
to here.
No, one more. Right there. These 1, 2, 3. These 5 items that are highlighted. You said these have to be as part of a state mandate. These 5 have to be incorporated in the general plan. Is that what you said? Just wanted to make sure I heard that properly.
So each of these 5 aspirational statements are going to be the categories under which the consultant team, in conjunction with the general plan steering committee and staff, are going to develop the actual general plan report. And each one of these 5 addresses specific components of the 17 required by state law.
These 5 came from where? I just want to verify, where did these 5 come from?
These came from the public input, the various discussions and meetings that we've had, and input from the steering committee and from the consultant. We've been able to boil it down to these 5 aspirational common categories, under which some of them have only 2 elements from the state law. Some of them have as many as 5 or 6 that are all related and fit neatly into one of these 5 aspirational statements. And as I went over earlier in the presentation, all 17 are contained under these 5 categories.
Thank you, sir.
Are there any other questions? Yeah.
Vice Mayor, a quick question. I'm looking on the connected community and talking about including a vital regional airport. And then I look on the TAC team and there's nobody on there from the airport. So who's representing that? If you go under the TAC team?
The TAC committee has a representative. We send materials to the general airport manager for review.
So is there a reason why we don't have, can you go back to that slide of the TAC team? Because you have all the other departments. Is there a reason why we don't have somebody from the from the airport on there?
I believe he's technically under Public Works. So, but he is an expert that we do submit the documents to.
Okay, thank you.
Are there any other questions from members of the council? All right, this is a public hearing. Would anyone like to address the city council on this item?
Good afternoon. My name is Emiliano Torres, and I'm on the steering committee. And thank you, Mr. Diaz, for addressing the fact that we need more participation. You mentioned putting some more seniors on there so they can be notified, but we're also missing the young folks. Since I go to the meetings, I see a lot of senior citizens there. I don't see young people there. And those are the people that are going to be here for the next 10 years. They're the ones that are going to drive this community, and we're not getting to them. Thank you.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to address the council on this item?
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. Bonnie Toy. I just had the random questions about how do we increase the helping our city to become more handicap accessible and friendly in 100 different ways, because our city needs that. And I did not see that addressed in there, and was wondering where it would be addressed. And would like to make some suggestions in regarding to getting more participation. Many of you have Facebook pages, and Mr. Torres did just say that you have younger people who are not being reached. And Facebook is a free advertisement you don't have to pay for. And each of you can share the information on your Facebook page for free. Your personal one, your city council one, your whatever one that you use. If you have your own group that you can share all that on Facebook. You can go to different other community pages throughout the city, because our city is filled with opinionated community pages, and you could actually yourself post on those groups asking for the younger people's participation. I imagine you could even do TikTok, and some of those kids, they like, I think, X. I don't know. I don't like that X thing. Or Twitter, is it? I don't know, whichever one it is. I stick with Facebook because it's simple, okay? But yeah, those things are things that you, as city council members and city manager, could do. Just a suggestion. But how do we increase the need, adding to make sure that the disability handicapped, the minimum is not enough. Our city needs more. Also, the pedestrian and e-bike situation, is that addressed in the general plan as a rule?
Yes, that will be included.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to address the council on this item?
Good evening, council. Sorry I'm late. In our men's club meeting this morning, I brought up the point about nuclear power. And is there anything in the plan for solar power, windmills, or for power in the future for the city?
Mr. Gobert, do you?
There will be, yes. It contained in the 17 state mandated elements, and that's the maximum number, which the larger cities, which we have for this plan update required to do, contains an environmental planning component, as well as the neighborhood preservation, revitalization, conservation, rehabilitation, redevelopment. So there are elements of the from the state mandated requirements that are going to be contained in our plan that will address energy conservation.
What is the plan? Solar panels, windmills?
We're still working on the plan, so we're not at that phase yet. This was just gathering the public input, what the update's on tonight. But there will be discussions on that ongoing in the future as we develop the plan.
Yeah, Mr. Wisdom, we're not energy providers, so our plan would just incorporate that we're going to want an efficient, reliable source of energy. It'll be a statement in that
point.
nature. Yeah. So we do not provide energy, so we won't have specifics to renewables or otherwise. But those are certainly conversations we can have with the utilities and with the Arizona Corporation Commission.
Well, they haven't done the greatest job so far.
Yes.
In the news, though, excuse me, nuclear power seems to be the source, and you won't even see nuclear power. You have a couple small plants to take care of all of Lake Havasu. You don't have to worry about power from the outside. And I have no idea what the numbers of dollars it takes. It might be cheaper to put in nuclear power plants like they have on submarines and aircraft carriers. That would take care of the city. Something to think about. It's a big thing down the road, and windmills and solar panels is not the answer, in my opinion. Thank you for the time. I'm sorry I missed you a few weeks.
Thank you, Mr. Wisdom. Would anyone else like to address the council on this item? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Thank you, Mr. Gilbert, for the presentation.
Mr. Mayor?
I'm sorry? Yeah.
Just a quick question. We were talking about students and stuff. Is there a way that the consultants can maybe reach out to MCC or the high school and maybe work into some of their classes and kind of get some insight from at that level? You know, as part of classes and stuff and being actively involved. Maybe that's something they can do.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Yeah, and Vice Mayor Lynn, did you have a comment or question?
Yeah, could somebody answer Ms. Toy's question about the ADA component, like where that goes in the general plan? Is it something that we will be discussing?
You're referring to the energy?
No, the ADA.
The ADA. That's also included in some of the components. The state's 17 elements are very broad with what's under them. And at this point, we were just, when I went over what elements were under what aspirational category, that was just to state which of the elements are where right now. But yes, ADA is part of some of those, actually, not just one. And there will very likely be goals and objectives coming out of those specific to handicapped access.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? All right. Thank you, Mr. Gilbert. Moving on to item 7.2 is ordinance number 25-1368, approving the plan development rezone and general development plan of 669 Lake Havasu Avenue North, tract 115, block 2, lots 1 through 4, from the general commercial C2 district to general commercial plan development C2 PD district to allow for the outdoor storage to be used. Outdoor storage use to be located in front of the primary structure and allow outdoor storage area to exceed the area of the primary structure. Good evening, Mr. Kearns.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. One moment. The subject property measures 1.66 acres. The property is currently developed with a 12,500 square foot commercial building located on the corner of Lake Havasu Avenue North and Industrial Boulevard. Arizona State Highway 95 is to the west. The properties to the north and south are zoned general commercial C2 district and are currently developed with commercial uses. The property to the east is zoned light industrial district and developed for industrial type uses. The general plan designates this area as commercial mixed use. The applicant's letter of intent requests to allow outdoor storage materials to be stored in front of the primary structure and allow the outdoor storage area to exceed the area of the primary structure. Staff will be requiring street frontage landscaping and storage materials should be kept at a maximum of 6 feet tall. Besides the requested exceptions, the request complies with the required findings of the Development Code. The Planning Commission voted 7-0 to recommend approval at their August 6th meeting. The recommended conditions are: 1, the development of the property shall substantially match the general development plan. 2, the perimeter screening device shall be a 6 foot tall concrete masonry unit wall. 3, storage materials shall be stored at a maximum height of 6 feet. And 4, building permits and design review for compliance with city codes are required prior to development of the property. I'll be happy to answer any questions, and the applicant is also here today.
Thank you, Mr. Kearns. Are there any questions from members of the council for Mr. Kearns or the applicant?
Mr. Mayor,
Yeah, Vice Mayor Lynn.
I don't know if we're allowed to ask or not, but what are they stored? What is being stored outdoors?
The company moving in there is a water distribution company, so they have pipe and other materials.
So I guess a question that I have is the materials that are going to be stored outside. I guess what I'm trying to say is I want to avoid like any rodents or anything like that, any type of nuisance out there. Will that defer that, or will there be any problems with that?
So our code requires the screening device, the wall, and then we're getting the landscaping, which is required for any commercial property. As far as rodent problems, maybe the applicant would know more on that, but
I guess I just want to know whatever's being stored outside, that it's not going to be a place that it's going to habitat rodents or something in that area.
Yeah, but I think their storage is just mostly pipe, large 20-foot sections of pipe, so it doesn't fit indoors.
Okay. Okay. I just want to avoid that situation in that area. Okay.
Mr. Laird, maybe do you want to address that concern or question?
Paul Lair, architect. Good evening, Honorable Mayor and council members. Yeah, to answer that question, it's large industrial pipe, and it's mainly PVC. There's nothing that a rodent would necessarily be attracted to.
Sure.
Yeah, thank you.
Are there any additional questions from members of the council for the applicant or Mr. Kearns? All right, this is a public hearing. Would anyone like to address the city council on this item?
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lair. Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing, bring it back to council for any additional discussion or possible motion.
Mayor, I'll make a motion.
Yeah, Councilmember Diaz.
I move to adopt ordinance number 25-1368, approving the plan development rezone and general development plan of 669 Lake Havasu Avenue North, track 115, block 2, lots 1 through 4, from general commercial district to general commercial / plan development district, to allow the outdoor storage use to be located in the front of the primary structure and allow the outdoor storage area to exceed the area of the primary structure.
Second.
We have a motion from Councilmember Diaz and a second from Councilmember Dolan. Is there any additional discussion? All right, we are ready to vote.
Motion carries 6-0.
Thank you. Item 7.3 is amendment to the airport fixed-based operator lease, Site 6, consent to assignment of leases and estoppel certificates regarding the transfer of airport sites 3, 4, and 6, fixed-base operator leases and sublease related to fueling of sites 1 and 2 from Havasu Air Center LLC to Velocity Havasu Holdings LLC. Ms. Gary.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Lake Havasu City received a request to consent to the assignment of the fixed-base operator leases for sites 3, 4, and 6, and a sublease related to sites 1 and 2 for fueling activities at the airport from Havasu Air Center to a new fixed-based operator, Velocity Havasu Holdings. Velocity is currently operating at 3 locations: Central Florida's Kissimmee Gateway Airport, Detroit area Willow Run Airport, and St. Simons Island Airport in Georgia. Based on the information provided, the Velocity team has vast experience managing and acquiring FBOs. A map of the airport is included in your packet materials. The Site 3 FBO lease was originally executed in 1992 and assigned to Havasu Air Center in 2025. It expires on September 30th, 2027. Site 3 is centrally located, and it includes a restaurant, hangars, and office space as shown on the attached map. The Site 4 FBO lease was originally executed in 2008 and assigned to Havasu Air Center in 2025. It expires in 2033 and has a 10-year extension option. Site 4 is also centrally located and includes hangars, office space, and a pool. The Site 6 FBO lease was executed in 2006 with Havasu Air Center. It expires in 2036 and has a 10-year extension option. Site 6 includes hangars, office space, conference rooms, maintenance facility, and fuel services. The sublease for the Fuel Island, located on Sites 1 and 2, was executed in 2003 between D2 Aero and Havasu Air Center. It runs with the master lease for Sites 1 and 2, which expires in 2043. The sublease allows fueling activities from the fuel tanks located on these sites. The city recently approved amendments to the leases for Sites 3 and 4. Much the same, certain amendments to the FBO lease for Site 6 are proposed at this time and prior to any assignment. The amendments include provisions regarding liens and mortgages and Federal Aviation Administrative grant assurances. Havasu Air Center and Velocity request the city consent to the assignment of Sites 3, 4, and 6 and the sublease related to the fueling of Sites 1 and 2 from Havasu Air Center to Velocity. The consents are contained in your packet, and this action would allow the transfer of those FBO leases for the sites and the sublease related to Sites 1 and 2 from HAC to Velocity for the remainder of the lease terms as expressed previously. Also included in your packet are estoppel certificates. They've requested the city to execute these estoppel certificates for Sites 3, 4, and 6 and the sublease related to the fueling for Sites 1 and 2. Estoppel certificates serve to confirm the accuracy of the lease terms between the tenant and landlord for a third party, such as a potential buyer or lender, and the certificates were also included in your packet for your consideration. I am happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you, Ms. Gary. Are there questions from members of the council for Ms. Gary on this item? Councilmember Diaz?
Ms. Gary, does this new contract that or this lease that we're might be transferring, if we vote on it, does it also cross the T's and dot the I's on the hot fueling that having the fire truck out there, and has that been addressed with this?
None of the leases specifically address hot fueling. Yeah, that's a separate conversation. It's not specifically attached to any of the consents or the estoppels or the amendment to the agreement.
The majority, the work that's in front of us is the assignment of the lease from one operator to another. There are.
I just thought we would put it as we would add it as an addendum. I know it's been
the hot fueling is part of an ordinance that the council approved, and then still working on that. So more to come on that front.
Well, just to clarify, we're talking about the fees associated with the fire department. It's not hot fueling is allowed, but it's
not the hot. Yeah,
the city's supplying the fuel trucks and all that at the moment.
Fire department.
I guess that's a concern with the council as well.
That's what I was referring to.
Yeah, but that's more to come on that. That's still being worked through. But what's in front of us now is the assignment of the leases with the accompanying documents.
Oh, fair enough.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? All right, this is a public hearing. Would anyone like to address the city council on this item? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and close the public hearing, bring it back to council for any additional discussion or a motion.
Mr. Mayor?
Yeah, Councilmember Dolan?
I've had some questions from people. Maybe they can come up and explain it. What does this do to the South development and RFP? Do they buy that opportunity, or how? Because that's one. Because I had some concerns. People that called me that last week they got a letter saying
so maybe
they can get some information on that.
As far as like the South End development RFP that came out has nothing to do with any of the assignments, consents, amendments that are proposed tonight.
I think it's just the overall concern with the big picture. This changes the whole playing field out there, and I think the concern from people before it sounds like a good deal and I support them, but I think there's definitely some questions that maybe we can, because people are going to be, when it just got passed and nobody asked any questions, I think that's a concern out at the airport, because maybe they can come up and explain it, because this does change a lot of things that are happening at the airport, and maybe we can get some of those answers, if that makes sense. So.
Dante Marinelli, Havasu Air Center. These are only for the leases that we have in place. It is not intended to transfer any rights or options that we have on the RFP at this time. So that company will not be participating in that process.
Okay, so that's separate from this
Separate,
company.
completely.
Okay.
Honestly, that company, most FBO companies are not necessarily interested in greenfield or development operations. They're interested in actually operating, fueling and other rights. So the development is separate, and we did not give them an option on the option that we were negotiating at the time with the city.
Okay, thank you.
Are there any other questions or comments from members of council? All right, at this time I'd entertain a motion.
Mayor?
Yeah, Councilmember Dolan.
Motion?
Please.
I move to approve amendment to the airport fixed base operator lease site 6, consent to assignment of leases and estoppel certificates regarding the transfer of airport sites 3, 4, and 6 fixed base operator leases and sublease related to fueling of sites 1 and 2 from Havasu Air Center LLC to Velocity Havasu Holdings LLC.
Second.
All right, we have a motion from Councilmember Dolan, a second from Councilmember Diaz. Is there any additional discussion? We're ready to vote.
Motion carries 6-0.
Thank you. All right, item 7.4 is license agreement for City Parks Wi-Fi and infrastructure with Allo Arizona LLC. Mr. Basquet.
Thank you. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Council. For this item, we're requesting approval to enter into an agreement with Allo Arizona. This agreement is going to expand our services in our city parks. As you all know, Allo's been diligently working for the last few years to provide internet throughout the city. Probably for longer than that, we've been looking at ways to expand the city's network into the parks. That's continued to prove to be not cost effective for internal, nor has it been resource effective, so we haven't been able to do that. With Allo essentially 100% done with their build out, we've now been working for the last several months to strategize and formalize an agreement to implement services at our city parks. In the agreement, we will accomplish the following. Infrastructure. Allo will be running their own infrastructure in our parks, but they will also be running city infrastructure. The infrastructure they run for the city will be owned by the city. The goal is to expand our network. We want to provide enhanced security upgrades in our parks, as well as employee Wi-Fi for our public safety, as well as our internal employees. We rely more than ever on data. Our police officers there's more cameras than ever. They need to download data. So when they pull into our parks, they'll connect to the Wi-Fi system, as well as our employees using cloud-based systems. They'll be able to have connection, whether it's irrigation control systems or any other software. For those parks of ours that we don't have the ability to get network access to, Allo's agreed to provide Ethernet LAN connections. Ethernet LAN connections is essentially a bridge. It's going to bridge our data center to that park location. It'll provide full bandwidth network all the way across so that we can have access to all the city services to those parks without any network connection currently. And the final item in the agreement is going to be public Wi-Fi. There's going to be 2 forms of Wi-Fi available. The first is going to be all free, available to all public users. It's going to be, the agreement stipulates it's going to be no less than 10 megabytes per section, per session. It's going to be similar to what you find in a hotel. I would imagine talking with Allo during non-peak times, they're going to up the bandwidth. It'll be around 20, but they'll have to reduce it if the parks get busy. And then the second will be the Allo customer Wi-Fi. They will be providing Wi-Fi to their customers. It's going to be a significant high-speed network to all of their customers when they're in our parks. If approved, we plan on using Rotary Park as our pilot park. We want to get the services established there, make sure everything works, and then once we approve, everyone's in agreement that it's providing the services we need, we'll expand to the additional parks. So overall, this agreement, we feel it provides significant services to our residents who visit our parks. It's going to provide network services for our employees and help us be safer and more efficient. So anything I need to clear up or any questions you have? I also have Steve from Allo here if you'd like to ask him any questions as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Prescott. First question is with the timeline of the pilot park of Rotary, what does that time frame look like if this was approved this evening?
Steve can answer that. He's running the infrastructure.
So, Steve Goodman with Allo Fiber. Right now, we're looking at a timeline of a projected finish date by March of 2026. But we definitely think we can get it done sooner. Pending this agreement tonight, we have a bunch of people who are wanting to fly out within the next 2 weeks, and we're hoping to knock this out actually within the next 90 days.
So the public Wi-Fi system, is that controlled by like Havasu City or by Allo?
It would be controlled by Allo.
Okay.
Just because we have the control behind the background, but it would always be at the discretion of the city as well.
So we would have the ability to put hours that we want to offer it that might mirror the same time the parks are open and have no Wi-Fi when parks are closed. If that was a management decision that we wanted to do, we would have that ability.
Yes, I don't see a reason why we couldn't do that for you.
Yeah, perfect. Excellent. All right. There are other questions from members of council? Yeah, Councilmember Diaz.
So so Allo's going to be paying for this service to this. They're going to pay they're not charging the city for the service.
Happy to report this is the first thing I'm not asking for funding on.
Okay, so what is this going to cost Allo annually? Do you have an idea to provide this to the city at no charge?
Minus bandwidth, it's a small maintenance cost on replacing APs and stuff like that. Right now, we're looking at Rotary Park as a pilot program. It's going to cost us somewhere in between $6,000 to $10,000 to implement this originally, but we do see it as a beta test for Allo footprint across our full network.
And the only reason I'm asking, and not to put you in a situation, but I did a quick research when this was on our agenda, and I noticed that Allo laid off like 9% of their workforce after they asked for voluntary resignation because they're having some pretty strong financial problems very recently, July and June of this year.
Yes,
so
and that has to
just be completely honest with us. How we want to make sure we're not going to get into something. You're going to start asking, we need to start charging you guys for this, and then that's going to cost our taxpayers money.
Absolutely, and that has to do with new construction of new cities, expanding our footprint and stuff like that. That's why we had layoff because of the government pulling back BEAD funding and different stuff like that, and we had to reevaluate how we were going to do business going forward.
I love Allo. I have Allo at my house. You guys do a great job. And I was just like, I got concerned when I saw that, like, whoa. So I appreciate your upfront.
Absolutely. Havasu is 100% done, and we're wanting to be a great partner.
And Councilmember Diaz, this agreement would just be allowing them to do the work. Yeah. So if that were to be a mechanism, that wouldn't be an option for costs. Mm-hmm. But any other questions or comments from members of the council? All right, this is a public hearing. Would anyone like to address the city council on this item? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and close the public hearing. Bring it back to council for any additional discussion or possible motion.
Mayor?
Councilmember Koch?
Motion?
Yes, please.
Move to approve the license agreement with Allo Arizona LLC.
Second.
We have a motion from Councilmember Koch and a second from Councilmember Moses. Is there any additional discussion? Seeing none, we're ready to vote.
Motion carries 6-0.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Prescott, and thank you, Mr. Goodman. All right, item 7.5 is a cooperative purchase of one 2026 Western Star 47X with truck-mounted hydro excavator from Arizona Wastewater Industries. Mr. Young.
Good evening, Your Honor, and ladies and gentlemen of the council. I'm here today to be the opposite of Jonathan and ask you for a lot of money. But it has been pre-approved in the fiscal year 26 budget, and it is for a Western Star 47X truck-mounted hydro excavator, which helps us move in and around our facilities that are underneath the ground safely. Gas, fiber, allows us to dig without damaging or creating something worse that could cause injuries. And I'm going to have Ms. Williams show a little video for you.
Why sometimes water is preferred for digging over shovels or excavators? Actually, this process is called hydro excavation, where water is pressurized to around 2,000 psi to break up the soil. At the same time, the loosened soil is sucked up by a powerful vacuum system. This method is preferred in congested or sensitive areas because it is less invasive than conventional mechanical methods and significantly reduces the risk of damaging live underground utilities like gas, electrical, and water lines. Have you ever wondered why sometimes
There you could see how easy and precise it was to get in and around and through the facilities that we have underneath our asphalt. So we've probably needed this a long time. We have hit stuff before, and we'd like to do our best not to do that anymore. And this truck provides us that ability to do it and do it safely. And so with that, I'd like to move to approve the cooperative purchase of the 26 Western Star 47X truck-mounted hydro excavator for $635,564.85. And I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Young. It's when you see that video presentation, it's surprising we haven't already used this. Saver on certain areas.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor?
Yeah, Councilmember Dolan.
Just said I've seen those videos on TV, you know, where they're like cutting through the dirt and it's like soil. Yeah, will this work with our rock based? I wouldn't even call it soil. I would just say rocks.
Concrete.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And we have used it. We have used our Vector truck, which is kind of the same thing, but it is not constructed to handle our rocks. So when we use it for that, we do damage to it that we really don't need to be doing.
And so this is designed for those large.
This is designed for the bigger rocks, the harder soil that hits with power as it gets vacuumed up. The Vector truck is designed for liquids and sludge, we'll say.
Okay, well, thanks.
So.
Are there any other questions or comments from members of council? All right, this is a public hearing. Would anyone like to address the city council on this item? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and close the public hearing, bring it back to council for any additional discussion or possible motion.
Mayor?
Yeah, Councilmember Dolan?
Motion?
Please.
Move to approve the cooperative purchase of one 2026 Western Star 47X with truck-mounted hydro excavator from Arizona Wastewater Industries Incorporated in the amount of $635,564.85.
Second.
We have a motion from Councilmember Dolan, a second from Councilmember Moses. Is there any additional discussion? Seeing none, we're ready to vote.
Motion carries 6-0.
Thank you. And our final public hearing of the evening is our open meeting law presentation. Ms. Gary.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Per your request, tonight we are going to discuss the foundations of what constitutes a meeting as defined by open meeting law, the legal requirements for notice, agenda, and minutes, and executive sessions. All 50 states have enacted some type of legislation providing the public with the right to openness in government. Arizona enacted its open meeting law in 1962 to maximize public access to the governmental process. The most fundamental element of open meeting law is the definition of a meeting. Under Arizona law, meeting is defined as, I'm going to read it verbatim, so bear with me, the gathering in person or through technological devices of a quorum of the members of a public body at which they discuss, propose, or take legal action, including any deliberations by a quorum with respect to that action. Includes a one-way electronic communication by one member of a public body that is sent to a quorum of the members of a public body and that proposes legal action, or an exchange of electronic communications among a quorum of the members of a public body that involves a discussion, deliberation, or the taking of legal action by the public body concerning a matter likely to come before the public body for action. End of definition. Next slide, please. Okay, breaking down the definition, we have 1, gathering. In the eyes of the law, it does not matter what you call the gathering. Perhaps a meeting, special meeting, work session, public event, private event, retreat, doesn't matter. It also doesn't have to occur at the same time or in the same place. It's not always easy to determine if a meeting has occurred. You have to analyze each element of the definition and apply the relevant facts. 2. Quorum. Usually, a quorum is a majority of the members of a governing body. Our city code defines quorum for the city council as 4 members of the council shall constitute a quorum and be necessary for the transaction of business. 3. Public body. Public body is defined by law and includes governing bodies, boards, commissions of political subdivisions. Political subdivisions include cities and towns, and any special advisory or subcommittees of the governing body, the commission, or the board. Or in person or electronically. To constitute a meeting, it does not have to be in person or, as mentioned previously, take place at the same time or in the same place. A meeting can occur in many ways and by technological devices as well. This is where it gets tricky. An easy example of a meeting by technological devices is a Zoom or Teams meeting, where some of the governing body members may appear virtually. Difficult examples include phone, email, text, and social media. In these instances, a quorum may not be immediately achieved, but rather achieved by a serial meeting, where words spoken or an email, text, or post is provided over time to a quorum of the members of the governing body. This can be done knowingly or unknowingly. This is also referenced as circumventing the open meeting law. These serial meetings can violate the open meeting law if they meet the elements of the definition of a meeting. Public body members have to use caution to avoid these types of violations. 5. Action. Legal action includes all discussions, deliberations, considerations, or consultations among a quorum of a public body regarding matters that may foreseeably require final action or a final decision by the governing body. The safest course of action is to assume open meeting law applies whenever a quorum discusses the business of the public body. The objective is to allow the public to observe the discussions, deliberations, and considerations of the public body. It cannot do so if those actions do not take place publicly. And that brings us to notice and agenda requirements, which is 6. Next slide, please. Notice. Generally, notice must be provided at least 24 hours in advance of a meeting, unless it falls under an exception like an emergency. The notice must be posted and include the date, time, and place of the meeting. The notice should contain the agenda or how the agenda may be obtained. Regarding agenda, the meeting must have an agenda that lists the specific matters to be discussed, considered, or decided by the governing body at the meeting. The descriptions on the agenda must provide enough information as is reasonably necessary to inform the public of the matters to be discussed or decided. If it is not on the agenda or related thereto, it cannot be discussed at the meeting. Minutes. Minutes must be taken of all public meetings. They can be written or recorded. They must be made available to the public within the timeframes prescribed by law. They must contain the details of the meeting, such as date, time, and place, roll call of the public body members present, and general description of the matters considered and outcomes, as well as the names of persons who make statements or present materials. Next slide, please. Executive sessions, dun, dun, dun. Executive sessions get a bad rap, but they are an essential and necessary function. Think of it in the context of negotiating the sale or purchase of property. If the discussion establishing a range for which property can be bought or sold had to occur in public, the city would not be in a position to get the best deal. Or imagine you are in a legal dispute. You would never invite your adversary to listen in on the legal advice you are receiving. For the same reasons, it is sometimes necessary for the city council to meet in private to obtain sensitive information and advice. Executive session, as defined by law, is a gathering of a quorum of members of a public body from which the public is excluded for one or more of the reasons identified by law. Only individuals whose presence is reasonably necessary in order for the public body to carry out its executive session responsibilities may attend the executive session. The key elements of an executive session include 1. It's not open to the public. Only council members and the necessary staff or advisors are permitted to attend. 2. No legal action involving a final vote or decision is taken at an executive session. However, the public body may instruct its attorneys or representatives. Let's go back to the example about buying or selling property. If the council were to meet to discuss the purchase of a piece of property, they could initially meet in executive session and instruct staff, say to negotiate a purchase up to a certain amount. Council would then come out of executive session, and the motion would be to instruct staff as discussed during the executive session. Staff would negotiate as instructed, and if successful, the item would then come back to council as a regular meeting item to approve the purchase. 3, notice, agenda, and minutes. Just like any other meeting, it is required to provide notice, agenda, and minutes. 4, confidential. All discussions that occur in executive session are confidential, and there are penalties for violations, including fines all the way up to removal from office. Limited topics. There are 9 specific instances in which a public body may discuss matters in executive session. These are the areas that are recognized by law to be sensitive in nature. A public body cannot meet in executive session for just any reason. It has to fall into one of these categories, which include personnel matters, confidential records, legal advice, litigation, contract negotiations, settlement discussions, certain salary negotiations, international, interstate, tribal negotiations, purchase, sale, lease of real property, school safety operations and plans, and security plans, procedures, assessments, measures, systems. This concludes the presentation, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Ms. Gary. Appreciate the presentation. When it comes to social media, because social media is a slippery slope when it comes to the different levels of government. So, the president can use it for whatever, but we have to keep the records if anyone were to ask. If there was, say, a newspaper article, for example, or a newspaper post on social media, and more than 4 members, or more than, 4 members or more of the council chimed in on that, would that be a quorum, or would that be a potential violation?
Without the specific facts, it's impossible to say, but what you would take that circumstance and you would have to then apply it to the definition. So if you're talking about an article that maybe comes out before you've made a final decision, then it could arise to being an issue. If it's an article about a decision you've already made and it's not foreseeably possible or reasonable to think that that item will ever come back in front of you again to make a final decision, then it may not arise to the level of being a meeting. So it really depends on the time and the place of when the discussion is happening and what is coming before you, whether you're going to make a final decision, have a discussion on that item or not. So it's just something that you have to be aware of as you're making those comments on there. So it's particularly important if it's an article that comes out before an item is going to come on the agenda and people start commenting on it, and you're commenting on it in a way that you may discuss or deliberate at the council meeting, then that could cause an issue.
Thank you. My social media presence had diminished when I got involved, just because to Ms. Toy's comment earlier about sharing different items, we actually have to keep track of a record in case somebody from the public does a FOIA request and says, I want all of the mayor's social media posts about Project A. And I would have to not only track the post that I made, but also have to track everyone that commented. Even if they come back and comment 2 years later, I would have to keep track of that myself, and that's too much to keep track of. So yeah, so I'm not doing that. But I appreciate that clarification. Yeah, Councilmember Diaz.
Yeah, quick question. Thank you, Ms. Gary, for that presentation. So when we're up here as a council and there's an item that's on the agenda, and then we decide, a few times I've had council members say, I think we should go into executive session. We're okay. It's been notified. It's been noticed, and it's an agenda. We don't have to shelve it and do it at a different time. Have the executive session, then bring it back to.
Correct, for very limited circumstances. So we include on all of our agendas that the notice that council can adjourn to go into executive session to get legal advice on any of the items listed on the agenda. So only for legal advice, you can adjourn during a meeting for an item that's on the agenda to receive legal advice. You can receive legal advice and then come back to the regular meeting.
I'm not a good lawyer, but I asked that question as a good lawyer because people say that we shouldn't be able to do that. I want you to explain why we can do that. So
yes. And there's times where on the fly it's necessary and you need legal advice to be able to make a decision. And so it gives you the tool to be able to do that and come out and make timely decisions and not having to come back at a future date under a special meeting or anything like that.
Excellent. Any other questions or comments from members of the council? All right. This is a public hearing. Would anyone like to address the city council on this item?
Good evening. My name is Emiliano Torres. I'm a resident. Just a question. Does this pertain to how you develop a quorum, meaning how many of you can meet at any given time together? and make it appear that there is a meeting when there is no real meeting. Let me say you go to a banquet and 4 of you show up to the banquet and are sitting in the corner, huddling together, discussing things. I don't think that would be appropriate. Maybe it is. The other thing is your definition of a public body. Let's say it was 2 of you from City Council and 2 of you from Planning Commission huddling together in the corner at a banquet, having a discussion about who knows what. Are those the provisions that are covered by this act?
Yes, those things are covered by open meeting law. How you're saying them may not be completely accurate. Of course, we live in a small city, so you're going to be attending events that include maybe a quorum of the council members, which would be 4. But to constitute a meeting, it has to meet all of the elements under the definition of a meeting. So just the fact that you have 4 or more council members or any other board or commission members in one room doesn't necessarily mean that it constitutes a meeting. They have to be taking some sort of legal action or talking about an item that will foreseeably come or is coming before the city council. And so just the fact that you're in the same room together doesn't necessarily mean that it constitutes a meeting. But generally, we do take an extra precaution. And when we know that there's an event coming up or a meeting or a conference or something where we know that there's going to be 4 or more council members or from a board or commission, we'll post that as well, just to let people know, like, this is an event. There may be 4 or more council members there, but they're not there to discuss city business. Related to a quorum is only going to be of the body. So the council members, it has to be 4 council members, and you can't have a quorum of council members mixed with like planning and zoning members. And so those are 2 separate bodies. So the quorum only applies to one body at a time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bonnie. Toy. The question I have is in regards to, since the mayor brought up the social media, if anyone on the city council or posted, just the posting, the invitation of come to the city council meeting and posting the city council agenda on their page, or posting, hey, we're having a general plan update session, come join us, or go to this website so you can answer the questions. That's not any kind of meeting, and it's information that you would be getting out there to those who are your friends on Facebook who don't maybe necessarily go to city council meetings on a regular basis, but you, depending upon how many friends you have on Facebook, that something that they. So what my question is, in regards to the open meeting law and how you addressed that earlier, is can't the invitation, aren't you allowed just to post things without responding to people's comments? You don't have to respond to people's comments when you invite people to participate in the government. Also, does this open meeting law is just a state? Is there a difference with the federal open meeting laws? And is the city manager part of the body in the open meeting laws? That was
so I'll address a few of the comments. So
Thanks.
Absolutely, we can, as members of the governing body, we can post on social media, but then the burden is on us to manage that. Should we get a FOIA request for the particular topic that then we have to present, and so we would have to then go back through our feeds and provide those. So if a member of the governing body is willing to do that's good. It's very difficult. It's not an easy process. So I don't enjoy doing that. The city manager is not part of the governing board, and and I think those are your questions, right? Were those your 2 questions?
And the open meeting law that was presented, is that just state open meeting law, and is there a difference with the federal open meeting law?
Yeah, so that what Ms. Gary presented was state, but I don't know if the feds have one. I don't know if you do, Ms.
To be honest, I'm not sure. I'm not familiar with the federal law that may be related to open meetings. That doesn't apply to the city council, so it's not something that's in my purview.
Okay.
Just the state law is what guides Arizona.
Generally, the federal government likes to tell the state what they can't do, and then the state likes to tell us what we can't do, and then we're the ones stuck with doing all of the things. So that's kind of how that works.
Just a random idea on Facebook. If you do Facebook Lives, Facebook has now deleted them after 30 days. So you really don't have to worry about going back 2 years on your Facebook Lives because it's not accessible.
You're trying to teach me how to break the law, Bonnie Toy.
It doesn't sound like it's breaking the law if it's not accessible.
Yeah, right. Yeah, thank you. All right. Anyone else like to address the council on this item? All right, we'll go ahead and close the public hearing. Thank you, Ms. Gary, for the presentation. Item 8 is our call to the public. This is where citizens have the opportunity to address the city council on items within the jurisdiction of Lake Havasu City. As I mentioned earlier, we can't have a two-way conversation at this point. But we can listen intently. Your comments are limited to 3 minutes. There will be indicator boxes on the screens throughout the room. You don't have to sign up, and we did not have anyone sign up. But with that, if anyone would like to address the city council during call to the public, please make your way to the podium and state your name for the record. Seeing none, we'll go ahead and close the call to the public. Item 9 is current events. Are there any council committee reports? Yeah, Councilmember Moses.
Yeah, thank you. We've had a couple of dark sessions at the Parks and Rec Advisory Board. However, before we went dark, a couple of the members brought up a couple of things that they're going to be talking about in the next meeting. They want to talk about bettering. It's kind of funny. We're talking about social media a lot, where they want to talk about how they can better promote some of the goings-ons of the Parks and Rec. As we all know, they've been doing amazing things with all their programming, so they want to do a better job of getting the word out. And then there's also some discussion about reimagining how the meetings take place to make them more efficient, more effective. It was thrown out there to meet, every other month, quarterly, just because we haven't been giving them anything to discuss. So it's just been a director program every single time. So they'll be discussing that in the upcoming meetings and looking forward to seeing what ideas come out of it.
Excellent. Thank you. Are there any other council committee reports? All right. Item 10, future meetings. Our next meeting is on Tuesday, September 23rd, 2025 at 5:30 p.m. It's a regular meeting. And then on Tuesday, October 14th, 2025 at 5:30 p.m., we will also have a regular meeting. Item 11, are there any future discussion items? Yeah, and Councilmember Diaz just was mentioning that there will be a ceremony for 9/11 on September 11th, this Thursday at 8 o'clock it's 8:15 at the London Bridge Beach Park. If you'd like to join us in the community, it also will be live streamed into the classrooms throughout the community as well. All right, item 12, we are adjourned. Thank you for being here. Be kind, and we'll see you next time.